It was actually the time when my dad came back from Japan from his business trip and brought me Nintendo DS Lite that time. So I came here in 2016, and honestly speaking, I don't think this is super important to already know what you want to do, because you might be 18 or 20 when you come to Japan. But I would suggest something that's gonna motivate you to come here. That's the most important thing, like why you want to be here. I think this plays a lot, even more than what you're gonna study here. Of course, if you know what you're gonna study, you're gonna go to your, you already know what to do pretty much. You know which university to apply, or what do you want to study, and you can always reach out to people who study in those universities from LinkedIn, from Facebook, Twitter, and ask them like what they like about their university, what they dislike about that. I'm sure they're gonna be friendly and help you with your questions. Quickly, I wanted to mention about the ways to move and relocate to Japan. There's not only one way that you need to go to university or your company sends you to Japan. There are actually multiple ways. One of the way is language school, but honestly, I didn't really consider a language school because I see a lot of people coming to Japan first and studying language school like and for a couple of years then apply for university. But I feel like this is honestly a waste of time, because actually you can learn Japanese language in the university that you apply for, and a lot of universities offer scholarships. So honestly, I don't understand paying a lot of money to the language school just to study Japanese, and only after a year or two you can apply to Japanese universities. Actually, you have a better and higher chance to get a scholarship if you're applying from your home country, because when you apply from Japan, university might consider you might be really like honestly well off. This is the secret, and they probably not gonna give you a high scholarship or like scholarship reduction, like tuition reduction actually, that you need to pay for your university. So when I was applying, I actually went to Uzbekistan and applied from Uzbekistan because it could increase my chances to get a tuition reduction, as well as possibilities for scholarships as well. So that's why it's my opinion, quick tip. I don't know if you really just want to experience Japan for a year, just to see how the life and how things are going on here, and if you like it or not, then probably yes. And if you're well off, you don't really care about paying 10, 15, $20,000 a year for just to study Japanese, then maybe yes. But other than that, I would suggest just come here for university first. And other possibilities as well is now this year there is a visa called nomad visa, but you need to get into certain requirements such as your salary and possibilities to work remotely, of course. So for that as well, I would suggest at least you need to have more than $100,000 a year just to relocate to Japan. Honestly, if you are individual, if you are different, you also have a lot of possibilities in Japan. I wouldn't like listen people who tell like, oh, Japan is not a great place to live, it's only for travel. It's total BS. Right after I graduated, it was very challenging for companies to hire, and also some of my friends had to go back to their country, and some companies stopped hiring. So no one knew what it's gonna be like, and no one could predicted that. So that's why another thing I think it's really crucial and important in Japan is to be prepared for anything, because anything can happen. And there's a phrase in Japanese called shoganai, nothing can be done about it. And sometimes it's annoying to hear that phrase, but I would agree. Certain things we can just control. It's not in our like will to control that. 2020 showed the whole world, and especially Japan as well, that you cannot control even things like Olympics. It had to be postponed. So that time, I would say it was also the most harsh time for me, because all my plans crushed, all the things that I wanted to do in Japan with Japan, it was pretty much crushed, and I had to start from the scratch again. And that time I got a chance to interview with companies, and I was also helping my senpai, my senior, with his work. And for that, he was also giving me tutorials and lessons how to basically get into interview, how to write a good resume. So I got really skilled on that, because this is something that I didn't really take serious. I thought if I'm good at my job, I can always get a work. But I was wrong. So it's also a skill to get into to interview, talk to people, share your value, negotiate your salary. So that's why I know certain people who are really good at their job, but they cannot really tell like to other people how they're good at that job. So this is also really crucial. So this is also crucial So this is crucial, not to just be good at your job, but also to market it, to show other people what you're worth. And after all this experience interviewing with companies, getting tons of rejections that I can't even count, I got interview final one with biggest e-commerce company. And I wouldn't say they just only do e-commerce right now. They pretty much do everything: mobile, TV, internet. So finally, instead of going back to my country, leaving Japan, I got a chance to work in Tokyo. First, I was really scared, because I only went to Tokyo once, and only after the company that I worked for bought me tickets, got me hotel. So before, I didn't even book hotels or tickets. Like, it was crazy. When I arrived in Tokyo, my first issue was where to live, where to find an apartment or place to live. Because my first thought was renting an apartment will be really expensive. Probably heard about the first months renting in Japan. You have to pay so many other fees that even like $1,000 apartment first month will cost you probably 4 or 5 times. So I didn't have that much money, and my first option was to stay for beginning in a hostel, or you can also say social apartment or share house as well. So place where you have a room and you share bathroom and kitchen. I don't regret my decision for choosing a social apartment, share house, because it really allowed me not to save a bit of money, but meet with local people, with Japanese people, actual people who also don't have like house in Tokyo, but moved to Tokyo from another cities around Japan. It's probably not gonna be a surprise for you hearing Tokyo is one of the best cities for food, especially for restaurants, coffee shops. There's so much choice, and for the price, this is just the best deal in the world. I don't know where else would be the better deal, because the quality, the time, and the preparation, everything is ideal pretty much. So that's why I love to explore this city, and it's also so easy to live, because you don't really need to care much about preparing something and thinking about where to go. Of course, only the right now we have, especially in the central Tokyo, you have to book something in advance. So yeah, I wasn't used to doing this before. But after working in a corporate in companies, I realized that it wasn't my goal to just work and like some people also tell me like, yeah, just wait for 3 5 years, work in a company, and maybe after that build something. I always felt that it's not enough for me, and I want to do something already. I always wanted to build something on my own and make a team around me. So that's why I made a decision to quit my job without a plan, honestly. It was so stupid in the beginning, but I just wanted to go for it because I'm still in my 20s, and honestly, I don't have anything to lose. And if I even lose something, there's a learning, there's always certain insights that I'm gonna get through my experience, and there's no failure. That's what I told myself and did what I did, even though I wouldn't say I regret my decision, but of course I had to plan what I'm gonna do after quitting, what I'm gonna do with my visa, with my like just job as well, or basically like what I'm gonna do for a living. But these type of questions actually also helped me not to get comfortable, because what I felt like during like when I wanted to quit, when I wanted to change something in my life, like even when I was working at Rakuten, honestly, if you really like working like 9 to 5, doing it little by little, if you don't really care much about like earning, so I think it's already a perfect job. So for most people, but if you really want to do something meaningful in your life, or if you want to do something on your own, you really have to strategize and think about your life. And of course, it requires more responsibility, because now you're on your own and you are responsible for all of the other things. It's not just going for your dream and your goal, it's also taking care of your even taxes, your life. So this is so crucial before doing something. But I never regret it because I took that chance, and yeah, even though I had to learn the hard way, but this was the only way for me to learn about what kind of path I chose. I also want to help other people as well who are in this path to, go on their own and do what they always wanted to do in their life. And I want to gather that kind of community where people can share their struggle, where people can share their winnings as well. So hopefully someday I can build that. But for now, I am focusing and I'm working with my clients, with my close people. Doing what I do now might feel a lot. Managing clients, also working on my own projects as well, like just life in general, handling all these things that's like I have now might feel overwhelming, but I think it should happen sooner or later. But I chose this way to finally do what I wanted to do and do what's gonna bring me closer to my goal. Nowadays, I help businesses and brands to get successful in Japanese market with marketing and social media. My story is still not done, and I'm going to share more learnings, what I'm going through, everything on my YouTube channel, sharing on Instagram. So if you want to know more about life, work, business in Japan, let's connect.